Hi, welcome all of you to the 2021 BAScii student debate on sustainability development. I hope you guys doing okay. Um, we have the total of three debate topic today so far. Actually, the debate session will uh, divide into 2 days. So the first day is today. We have three topics, and we have another topic debate session on next Friday on 19th of November, same time, 9 to 12, with another three topics. So today the topic of debate for these sessions, three topics will be um, hippies, awareness building and understanding of nature is good for the world and humanity than Doraemon stuff. That will be on 9:10 to 10 to 10. So that will be starting pretty soon. The second topic will be climate change is the biggest threat to the world and humanity until we see inequality. And the last topic for today will be science is more crucial than arts for the world to become more sustainable. Each team will have the total of 20 minutes. So there will be four members each team. Um, each member will get 5 minutes each for their debate sessions. There we go for we will start with the support team, then we go for against, then support team, and then against again. Um, Today, the support team for the first topic will be team number two, and the against team for the first topic will be team number five. If you guys ready, I think we can certainly start the topic, the debate now. Um, for the guys, other student who watch on YouTube live, I will send you a Google Forms that you can certainly score or give the vote to the team that you like. Um, I will do it in each round. So, say for example, for the first supporter on the first team finish, then the against team finish for the first round. Then I will give you a Google link, which I will allow you for 2 minutes to fill it up. All right. Then after 2 minutes, I will close the Google Form, and you can only do it within this 2 minutes only. Hope you're okay. All right. If you're ready, can you please turn on the cameras and we can start the sessions if you want.
Okay, today we're gonna talk about hippies and German stuff. If you want to talk
Uh,
about hippies and German
just,
stuff,
just,
oh,
just,
no,
could just keep 1 second, 1 second.
no.
Can others
Sorry.
open the turn on the camera as well? That is nice. Okay. So we have one team that got 3 people and the other team got 4 people. Is that right? Okay, that's cool. So, who will be the first one for wait up. I need to just check my time scorecard too. So we have um team number 5, which is Natanan, Anita, and Tanagon, right? So who is Natanan? Who is Natanan? Okay, Natanan, Anita, and Tanagon. Who's Tanagon?
It's me.
Okay, so okay, 1, 2, 3, and then for the other teams we have Nalit, Nasila, Vishayada, Dayaton, and Laksamikan. Laksamikan. Okay, so who is who? This is Dayaton. Laksamikan. Sigma, what's your full name?
นศิลาครับ
Oh, Nasila, very good, and Vishayada. That's perfect. So you can see all of you guys. Okay, so if you're ready, we have 5 minutes. Um, I'll be the one who do the timing for you. คุณหนึ่งครับ do we have a timer? We don't have, right? I can do it by myself, right?
we don't have ครับ
Okay, that's cool. It's all right. So I will start counting the time when you start saying hi, and then I'm counting the time for 5 minutes, right? If you have 30 seconds left, what should I do? I will say 30 seconds left. so you know that you have 30 seconds and wrap it up. All right. If you guys ready, then who will be the first one who debate? My, right?
Yeah, mine.
Okay, that's great. All right. Okay, if you're ready, the floor is yours.
Okay, so if you want to talk about hippies, the difference between hippies and their own stuff, the hippies in this case is not just about people who just know peace and do the marijuana, but actually it's all about the awareness of building and also the understanding of the nature. For the Doraemon stuff, it would be the advanced technology that promises to solve many problems like global warming or anything that could help humanity and also the nature. I personally believe that both should be combined. I don't attack only the technology because I believe that both should go together, the awareness of building and also the intelligence to build advanced technology. However, if we talk about which one is better, I have to say that the consciousness or awareness is much better. It's the most important basement. So I believe that the real problem is not the technology. The real problem is how people lack awareness to use the technology properly. And now people just use technology to shorten their lifespan by the misuse and all the greediness and selfishness. If we want to claim that technology helps human a lot, okay, but let's trace back. Technology has been there for us, but from what I see, things are worse. As like since the moment that people unawareness and recklessness grow, actually, it's not about technology, because it's the people. We are growing too fast and too smart as a species that one day we just destroy everything that ever existed before us. According to National Geographic, the Earth was estimated to be 4.56 billion years old, while our ancestors were just 6 million years old. So they're gonna be full era that I want to talk about. First, the pre-mechanical age, 3000 BC to the 1450 AC. It's the era that we start on the Sumerian language, drawing on the walls, Roman letters, giving Latin names, which we learn how to speak and write from that moment. Second, the mechanical age. The mechanical age would be 1450 to 1840. It's a cotton industry and yes, Victorian's age, like steam engine, as we know. Third, the electromechanical age, 1840 to 1940. The telecommunication telegraph was created by Samuel F.J. Morse, and also the Abraham Graham Bell also created the telephone. The fourth one, the electronic age, 1940 to the present. We have the internet, the car, mobile phone, and you guess what? The atomic bomb was created in 1940s. The new study from the ANU reporter published in Nature has found that in some parts of the world, human industrial revolution kickstarted global warming as early as 1830s. 100 years and 91 years. This is a summarize of me. Just 191 years that we destroyed everything. We're just 6 million year species, but we already destroyed everything. We destroyed the world that has been there for us for 4.5 billion years. Are we gonna blame the technology? No, we don't blame the technology. We're gonna say that it's about the lack of awareness and the basic understanding of the nature. That's why we are here. Now we just try to create all the eco-friendly cars or whatever, but just think about it. Okay, if the opposite team want to say something, yeah, the next round I would love to hear you about which investment that can actually solve the problems. When actually all I can see that all the advanced technology that we are using today is not actually like helping. It just actually like try to like extend our lifespan because of what we did. We already harmed them so much. And I also want to say that, for example, we are too lack of awareness, for example, like fast fashion. And fashion is not just something that's fashion. It doesn't have to define as just clothes. Fashion can be anything. Fashion can be food. Fashion can be memes. Can be anything. Fashion is something that up to date and people are like using widely. But just think about it. Just iPhone every year they have new iPhone and stuff, and people just went for it and bought them, even though they claim that, oh, we have the recycle, like how to properly recycle, but do you know exactly how much will pollution have to be emitted just from that recycle? So everything, all the technology that promises that say, oh, we're eco-friendly, we are, green thing, it's not true. Because people lack awareness and people don't try and try to understand more, and people just believe whatever the marketing said, when actually it's all about the money. They will say whatever they want because they understand that now your point is, now the people interest it's all about the nature. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thumbs up. All right, that's good start. Bring a lot of issues up, and I think it would be best if the against team can certainly start and trying to overcome those arguments, please. When you're ready.
Okay, I'll be going.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so a very cheerful good morning to all. Today, I would like to light my wheels opposing hippies' thoughts toward technologies. As a negative side myself, my team firmly believes that hippies' culture at its core is good for humanity in the sense that it encourages environmental awareness and liberal ways of thinking, but is no way better than science and innovation. First off, I would like to mention that technology is involved in our daily lives. Imagine this: you wake up in the morning and you saw your morning alarm. That's already an invention. Till switching off the lights at bedtime. It also helps reduce the time we spend on each task. For instance, right now we usually order foods through Grab, Lineman, or yeah, something like that. Grab, Lineman, Food Panda. It is one of the greatest things that human beings have invented, and it is becoming an integral part of our lives now. What if, what if there's no technology in this world? Could you imagine living a day without any technology? Picture this: if you wake up one day and you see no computers or no phones, first you would wake up late, right? Because there's no alarm on your phone. And second, you wouldn't even be able to turn on the lights to brush your teeth or even take a shower because the power sources and the water are operated by many computer systems. If that's not terrifying enough, picture yourself walking to work or school every morning since there are no transportation systems available. Also, we can't ignore the impact of technologies on the education system. What if what if we are having COVID right now and we don't have any technologies to help us cope with it? Where would people like us and education be? So realistically, there would be no vaccines, right? And since it requires a lot of technology in making it, and perhaps the death rate would skyrocket. And well, about education would be completely shut off, and people would have lost their interest in learning and become less passionate to work, which would lead to a bigger problem in the future. So to conclude, no technology equals no internet, which also means that students cannot even go on YouTube and search for teaching videos for their own education and knowledge. Thank you.
All right, that's quick. Okay, that's cool. Um, you haven't like spent 5 minutes, but it's great. You cover all of the point now. All right, so um, I will post the link to score to vote for the first topic in the first round in the group line. All right, teams that teams that are debating, you don't have to vote for yourself. It's okay. All right, let the audience vote. All right. Okay, let's just give me a second. Pinning club, I'm posting it now, and I will let you know once It's 2 minutes, so you can stop and all right. So the link to vote is in the group line. So please vote and make sure you pick the right one. Make sure to pick the team that you like. So who's the next one? Who's next? Nasila? No?
I am next.
Okay, you're next. That's good. Don't forget that. Please don't vote for yourself. Stay tuned. You'll be all right. Make sure you overcome those arguments from other teams, right? Make sure you cover all the point and try to focus on the point. All right. พี่หนึ่งครับ please close the vote and it's 2 minutes now. That's good. Okay, so next one, คุณวิชยดา if you're ready, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, so from what you mentioned earlier, you said that education would be completely shut off and people would have lost interest in learning without technology. In my opinion, I think technology does help with education, but it also affects very negatively. Do you think that every student has access to technology? There's actually a social inequality between the students who can access digital technologies and those who cannot, meaning technology does not fully help education become better. Not only it creates a social inequality, but also impacts students' mental health, physical health, and learning. Students are spending an excessive amount of time in front of screens that is unhealthy for their learning as well as their mental and physical well-being. Technology is also decreasing the social skills of students. The education of the students completely depends on their social skills. But increased technology use has the potential to create social disconnection for young and older children alike, which can negatively impact the development of social and relational skills. Specifically, the more time they spend with devices, the more their social development suffers in the areas of relating and interacting with others and compliance with directions and ability to help others. So what I stated earlier shows that technology causes a big change to human lives, which is why I support hippies. Here, I would like to give an example to illustrate how humans are greedy and less aware that it affects our world critically. Humans are speeding extinction and altering the natural world at an unprecedented pace. Humans' greeds are transforming Earth's natural landscape so dramatically that as many as 1 million plant and animal species are now at risk of extinction, posing a dire threat to ecosystems that people all over the world depend on for their survival. The average abundance of native plant and animal life has fallen by 20% or more, mainly over the past century. With the human population passing 7 billion, activities like farming, logging, poaching, fishing, and mining are altering the natural world at a rate unprecedented in human history. When combined with the ways humans are damaging the environment, climate change is now pushing a growing number of species, such as bees, closer to extinction. So, have you ever heard of bee extinction? And do you know that technology like cell phones is decreasing the bee population?
Honeybees are one of the most important species in the world, and life without them would practically be practically impossible. You may have heard that a world without bees means a world without fruit, vegetables, grains, seeds, and nuts. It is true. Albert Einstein once said that if the bee disappeared off the surface of the globe, man would only have 4 years to live. And according to the US National Agricultural Statistics, they reported honey bees declined from 6 million hives in 1947 to 2.4 million hives in 2008. So it's a 60% reduction. So how does a cell phone relate to the decline of honeybees? Since bees use cryptochrome for navigation, they use it to sense the direction of the Earth's magnetic field, and their ability to do this is compromised by radiation from phones and their base stations. So basically, bees do not find their way to the hive. The impact has already been felt the world over, as the population of bees in the US and UK has decreased by almost half in the last 30 years, which coincides with the popularization and acceptance of cell phones as a personal device. Suppose you know that the bees are endangered because of cell phones. You would still be using your phone no matter what. This shows how humans are addicted to phones and they're not aware about the creatures in the world. Thank you.
All right, that's nice. 5 minute intro, so that's good. I didn't know that the bees in danger every time I use my phone. So probably need to change the habits, right? Okay. Next for the against team, who will be the person who debating? Anita. Okay, Nathanan. All right, that's great. Okay. So Nathanan, if you're ready, please take it away.
Okay, so the second speaker said that the children are spending too much time with technology. While our team does not doubt that children do spend a larger amount of time with technology, we argue that this is a logical development as technology has advanced to improve and enhance the lives of children. Simply spending a lot of time with technology does not prove that it is harmful. And in fact, technology can improve lives. In one study, age of 45, they used an app called Emergent Literacy Assessment, and this improved their test results to 80%. And while social skills can contribute to academic success, health, and overall well-being, education does not completely depend on it. And it is true that there is inequality between people who can have access to these digital technologies and those who cannot, but that inequality has plagued society since early civilization. And in fact, the relationship between the quality of education and income has always been strong, regardless of technology. And also you mentioned about bees becoming extinct because of the radiation from our phones. This is in fact harmful to the bees. We argue that there are technological solutions to this. Like if you heard about the femtocells, it's already like a preferred options for mobile phone operators since it's cheaper and reliable. So that's an option as well. And there's also no evidence that Einstein ever said that. And as you can see, our society has greatly benefited from technological innovations. There's a great deal of good that technology can be useful for, especially in times of crisis, natural disasters, or as we've seen recently, the pandemic, like the COVID-19. So think of how difficult it would be to manage relief efforts without technology, or scheduling healthcare workers, supply chain management and production, or coordinating online donations and taking care of patients. It is all made possible by technological advancements. The news, broadcasts, online articles, websites, and social media are all pitching in to keep citizens up to date with the latest news. And it would be challenging, if not near impossible, to coordinate a national response if we didn't have a way to broadcast information quickly to the masses. And also, the fear of the unknown is also lessened when people have information about what they can do to help prepare and also stop the spread. People are using technology to share tips that focus on self-care and ways to adjust to this new normal. And the most importantly, the benefits of technology has been finding ways to monitor the spread of the coronavirus. Additionally, researchers are utilizing the technology at their disposal to learn how to combat COVID-19 while searching for useful treatment and prevention options. According to the World Bank, countries with wider internet access and safer internet servers tend to have better infrastructure and have a better way to cope with pandemics. The rapid innovation and implementation of technology has allowed us to navigate the challenges of our world, especially in times of crisis. But if we now talk about the natural disasters, like in the hours of the telephone lines collapse after the bombs in the Boston Marathon, the People's Search Engine was a lifeline for their relatives and friends. And after the devastating earthquake in China, one of the key services of assistance units was to provide mobile charging stations. The most recent figures show that natural disasters caused losses of $131.7 billion in 2018 and affect millions of people around the world. While Mother Nature is unpredictable, several technologies promises to help with forecasting and prevention and allows responders to act sooner rather than later. In 2015, the UN said that about 90% of all natural disasters are weather-related. And to help reduce the loss of life, scientists today employ a wide array of technological tools to better anticipate natural disasters and improve weather forecasting. With its continuous evolution, technology played a big role in mankind, and it has become a necessity for man to survive. It's a fact that mankind and technology are inseparable.
All right. Okay, thumbs up. That's good. Okay, so again, the student that the audience can certainly vote now. The link been posted into the group line. Again, the team that are debating, you don't have to vote for yourself. It's okay. You will get a chance to vote later on after you finish the round. Yeah. Okay, so I give the other student 2 minutes to think about which team. The argument is getting right to the point now, and I think there will be more interesting point to be debated for the remaining two debater for each team. All right, let's wait for them for a minute or so. All right, it's 2 minutes now. Okay, let me just unsend it. And Pin Cup, can you just close the board for me? Thank you. Next up for the support team is Miss Dayaton. Okay, that's
That's me.
great. Okay. And
Oh,
Dayaton, if you're
sorry.
ready, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, as another team mentioned before about technologies, like all the contents makes me realize that why we need hippie. We need to be aware of like sustainabilities. When we do and we start to invent the innovation, you can see that technologies can help us and save planet. But more than anything, we must learn to value nature. And I'm here to let you guys see more sides, more dimensions of technologies. So, how many of you think that technologies can solve all the biggest social problems? How many of you think that maybe technologies isn't the answer? Like that we just need to improve our society system to solve the problems. And maybe technologies creates problems. I think that's both of you are right. Like personally, I believe that we have technology today that could solve all of the world's biggest social problems like food, water, energy, education that you mentioned before. At the same time, these technologies are so powerful that I believe they could also greatly harm our society. And today we need to come up with a new ethical frameworks on how to use like this technology, and we need to redesign how our society, our governments, our economic system, our education system work. And that's why we should be have to more awareness of the socials, the humanities. Like many social problems have important technology aspect. At the same time, it is usually impossible to identify a single like very technological cause for the problems. Nor it is in most cases possible to identify a single technological solution. In practice, such problems can best be understood by conceptualizing the socials and the technical as mutually constitutive. It's then followed that specific technologies can help to reproduce and increase the social inequalities, like more increase the gaps of our societies, and that unjust social relationship can be conducive to the emergence of bad technologies. Social exclusions, offshoring, and humankind proliferating ecological footprints are exemplary problems that have significant social as well as technological aspects. In addition, it is important to realize that the technologies change, like in general, come together with social change, and that this at the deeper level correlates with changing moralities on ontologies. By consequence, technological socials are highly dynamic and reflexive, and the ensuring complexities might itself become social problematic. Like that's why I support this statement like hippies, like awareness buildings and understand of nature are better for the world and humanity than Doraemon stuff, because we need to be more aware of sustainabilities. Like from my point of view, hippies are not antis. Like although they can be happy to live with nature, and they solve the problem by the nature, like the nature solutions. But it doesn't mean that they're against the technologies or changes. They use it when they want. They drive technologies, not technology drive them. They don't use any tool to solve the problems, while the technologies had to synthesize things that waste resource and create global warming. And my key point is focusing on the social awareness building and understand of the nature more than improving the high technologies that today we non-stop improve it. Yes, and this is why I think that technologies or innovations could also greatly harm for our society. And I believe that we should more like aware of the sustainability and the inequality of society, that we should care about it. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. You guys has controlled the time super well now. That's great. All right. Next up is Miss Anita, I guess.
Yes.
All right. The
To
only
begin,
third year in my course. The only third year in my course now. So good luck with that.
thank you.
Are you ready? The floor is yours.
Okay, so to begin, I'd like to address some arguments put forward by the preceding affirmative. It is true that we need to value nature and be aware of sustainability. However, the very existence of renewable energy, electric transportation, carbon capture, and various other technologies in use today are proof that we are in fact aware. Bill Gates is living proof that one can value nature, be environmentally conscious, and still be innovative and high tech. While environmental awareness and social change are crucial to technological change, like you said, addressing sustainability issues and global warming hinges largely on science and innovation. COVID-19 pandemic not only highlighted the costs of ignoring science, but also proved that rapid, large-scale behavioral change is indeed possible and showed that leaders who take responsibility for addressing problems can gain respect. Now to my arguments. Did you know that the development of stone tools and the ability to harness fire are two of the most important examples of how technology helped change human societal behavior and perhaps evolution? Both aided in the survival of early hunter societies that created the ancient behaviors that Homo sapiens are known for, effectively changing the course of our evolution. Innovation is part of human evolution. Science is the root of our very existence. To determine what is best for humanity, it's imperative to understand human nature. All human actions are motivated by a desire for improvement in our condition. Humans have always sought answers to the questions and solutions to their problems. This is the very essence of science and is evident from everything we do, from the establishment of time and calendars to our use of measuring units and our pursuit of positive knowledge. Technology played a part in the creation of empires and globalization, in ancient trade, as chariots, ships, and the ancient Silk Road all helped kingdoms trade, become wealthy and powerful, and to spread in influence, resulting in the conquering of kingdoms and the linking together of different civilizations we learn about today. All such advanced kingdoms grew into empires due to their strong economies resulting from advanced technology, strong militaries also resulting from advanced technologies, and powerful communication and transportation abilities, again, thanks to advanced technology. So at this point, it could be said that history has been written by the invention and use of advanced technology. And on to my next point, necessity. Plato famously wrote, "Our need will be the real creator," which became the English proverb, "Necessity is the mother of invention." When the need for something becomes imperative, we are forced to find ways of getting or achieving it. Innovation, which can be defined as a purpose-oriented creation, has played a key role in human evolution and our survival as a species. From flint arrowheads to sophisticated algorithms, our problem-solving ability has been used to the benefit of humanity. It cannot be denied that technology has contributed to a number of environmental and social issues, but it is also critical in solving environmental degradation, climate change, food scarcity, waste management, and other major global issues that impact mankind. And although the solutions to these global issues are complex, multidimensional, and will take generations to unravel, one thing is certain: technology will play a critical role. According to Forbes, technology has the potential to boost productivity, efficiency, and cost savings, as well as decrease product waste and monitor, evaluate, and track progress, all of which can help minimize environmental impact. In an interview with the Henry Ford, Bill Gates claimed that with every challenge, whether it's the environment or medical costs, innovation will be what gets us out of the problem, and that our future will be defined by those innovations. Thank you.
All right. Okay. That's cool. Um, that's it for the third round of the first debate session. Wait up. let me just give you um, 1 second. Okay. The first topic and the third round, I already put the Google form for you guys to vote. So please do vote. I give you 2 minutes. I have 1 minute and 40 seconds left. So for the final round of the first topic, there we have a conclusion guy, which will be Kun Nasila, and who is closing for the against team? You again? Oh wow, okay. So as a third year student, so you have to work harder than the second year students, right? That's great. So um, just wait for them to vote for a minute or so. Okay, that's great. So that is it. Opinion Cup, can you close the vote, please? I will unsend the things. Okay, that's great. Um, for the final round of the first debate topic, we will go first for the support team, which will be Kun Nasila, right?
ค่ะ
Okay, yes, certainly. If you're ready, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. So technology as a whole is definitely not a necessity, but the term is quite broad as it can date back to the earliest technological achievements for humans, such as the fire you mentioned, and technological achievements are what differentiate us from other animals. Those are a necessity, is what define us as a human. Regardless, recent technological advancements that are there for comfort, convenience, and fortune, especially the ones our speakers have mentioned, such as the EMF, are not truly a necessity and are damaging the environment. Let me tell you what I mean. Like, humanity has reached a point where technological advancements are focused on what is cheaper and make and sell for a large fortune rather than focusing on what is best for us as a species. A handful of technologies in the present days use a cheap and damaging method rather than a more expensive and environmentally friendly option, as it benefits the producer. Sustainable energy such as solar, wind, and currents are expensive methods compared to fossil fuels, or like biodegradable plastics are require a longer process to synthesize and costlier. LED and CFL light bulb, for another example, leaks less energy than the older version of light bulbs, but they require more money to produce. These are a few that come to mind, but there are millions of producers out there in the world still relentlessly seeking to make a fortune for themselves while taking resources away from Mother Nature. The against team mentioned that humans' actions are motivated by like a desire to improve. Well, that used to be a case, but it no longer is. We have stopped helping each other progress, and it is evident that we are in the world where every man and woman must fight for themselves. Technological advancements that are necessities are all from the time where humans were still working together towards a goal of surviving as a species, but now everyone is working towards the opposite. We stop caring. We are at the beginning of a trend that heads toward the doom of humanity, and the rate that we are progressing is lower than the rate of humans destroying Earth, meaning that eventually we will not be able to live on Earth while we can't even find alternate solutions such as living on other planets. Well, this may not affect our generation, but it is like a ticking time bomb to an inevitable doom, and there is no easier time to end this abysmal trend than the present. So, in conclusion, evolutionary technologies have been invented and utilized in a way that provides the most benefit and comfort to producers and consumers, respectively, while disregarding the impact on the environment and Earth as a whole. This trend will not stop or slow down as humanity progresses and evolves, and the current trend will undoubtedly further damage the only known planet we are capable of living in. However, it is possible for us to significantly reduce the harm that technology does to our environment by building awareness. As consumers, we often have more power than we believe to make a positive impact. After all, if we buy products, and they will keep being made. By withdrawing our financial support from companies who refuses to make things better, who refuses to start a campaign for the environment or use materials that are environmentally friendly, we are impacting the economy and effectively ridding the society of such companies. And the usage of convenient technologies do not stop. So the ideals that we support include actions such as using the technology we do have as long as possible, like maybe like changing your phones when it's actually broken, not just because a new version came out, and choosing technology you can repair rather than things that will break and no longer function after a period of time, meaning like such as just plastic containers, plastic bags, or like even simple stuff like fork and spoons. We can just keep using silverwares that are better than just one-time use, and reusing older devices in a new ways around our home or donating them so they can continue to be used is a few great starts. And that will help humanity slow down the damaging process, and hopefully we are able to progress faster than we are destroying. Thank you.
All right, that's good. Good closing statement for you from the support teams. That's great. So, Kun Anita, are you ready to destroy everything Kun Alisa just recently mentioned? If yes, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, the affirmative team claimed that technologies have been used in a way that disregards environmental impact. This is not true. Let me illustrate. New technologies have led to more sustainable methodologies, better stewardship of our natural resources, and conversion to solar and renewable energy sources. These have been shown to have an enormous positive impact on the environment. Streaming media services are reducing the demand for producing DVDs and all the wasteful packaging that goes along with it. Many technologies in use today are maximizing consumer and economic benefits while simultaneously minimizing energy loss and environmental impact. We haven't stopped caring. I myself are taking steps to support the environment. So, in summary, our first speaker spoke to you about how education is the key to success and how technology plays a major role in it. We always have access to valuable information at our fingertips thanks to technology and the internet. We can find almost anything online. For students, this means an access to everything from research materials and educational applications to interactive entertainment and open resources from top universities around the world. Teaching now goes beyond a lecture in front of a blackboard, and technology has been an integral part of its development. It has transformed education and the way that people learn and retain information. Therefore, its role in the future of education is a fundamental part in maintaining growth and progression of today's economy. Our second speaker spoke to you about the importance of technology and innovation in times of crises like the pandemic, whether it be coordinating the relief efforts, staying informed, alleviating fear, or monitoring the spread of the virus. With technology, the sky really isn't the limit anymore. Every new technological advancement has the potential to improve the way we respond to and fight this coronavirus outbreak. Our last speaker talked about how innovation is part of human evolution. All human behaviors are driven by a desire to enhance our circumstances. This is the core of science, and it can be seen in everything and has long been demonstrated in history that technology helped societies to evolve and attain higher levels of global progress by creating a greater level of societal efficiency. In conclusion, technology has had a tremendous, almost unimaginable impact on human life. While it is near impossible to gauge the entire impact on human society, technology clearly has done a lot to make human life easier, more enjoyable, and more convenient. However, when misused or produced irresponsibly, it has the potential to have devastating consequences, and thus there is no arguing that technology has brought possibilities and challenges for the entire humanity. But to a curious and inventive species like ourselves, it's been part of life for as long as we've been human. Were it for not for technology, we would still be somewhat upright walking primates, huddling in the trees at night so as to not be eaten by predators. There are always downsides, but humanity coped and has always coped. By preparing for this debate, you are using your laptops to research and access online resources using smart search engines and cloud storage, which I think you can agree is much more efficient than poring through reference books in a library. By bringing ethics into technology, it is the question of how we can make technology serve humanity. So ethics is about making sure that human values, authentic human values, are brought into the work of technology, and that technology is not a mess, but a good servant. And the good use of technology serves humanity. It saves lives. It encourages evolution, productivity, and finance. Before I end, I'd like to quote Steve Jobs, who I think said it best. Innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity and not a threat. After all, it has been here since the dawn of civilization, and it is here to stay. Thank you.
All right, that's great. Steve Jobs quote with the closing um, statement. That's great. Okay, that's good. Thank you for the team two and team five. Let's stay with me for a couple of minutes. The top. Let me just send the vote to the Google form to the group lines, and then let's them vote for 2 minutes. Now, can you turn on the camera so we can, I don't know, maybe like take group photo together for the first team? No, for the team five and team two. You look fine, don't worry. You look fine. All right. Okay, team, you're not driving, right? Thank God. Okay, that's good. All right. Big smile. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. That is nice. That is on. Can you? I do it one more time. You close the camera. Okay. Okay. Good mind. That's good. Okay. One more time. Big smile, please. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. That is nice. Okay. All right. So thank you, team two and team five. You did a good job. Show your effort, and I appreciate your effort. Right. Thank you. Bye. Don't forget to
Thank
go
you.
in and listen to your friend for another two topics, right, in YouTube Live. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Anita. All right. So how was the first topics doing? I think it's very fruitful debating sessions, and I hope you guys enjoy the sessions like I do. Um, the next topic will be. Oh, just give me a second. Let me just close the board. Pinning can close the board for me, please. Okay, for the next sessions, right, there will be a topic of climate change is the biggest threat to the world and humanity until we see inequality, right? Are you having a team one as the support teams, and they have a team six for as a against team? All right, team one and team six, if you're ready, please enter the steam yards and get ready. Team one, wow. Team six, team six, that's great. Okay. Oh, that's black and white. That's black and white. So, okay. Wait up. Are you guys ready? So we have 4 people for team 6 and 4 people for team 1. Oh, that's a pack of. Be careful of COVID-19. So you might want to put on your mask. I don't want to get scolded by by my boss seeing you together without mask. Bad boy, bad boy. All right. Okay. So we have the team 1 as a support team, right? So who's pitching first for team 1?
Me.
So it's idea. So it's idea, Matt, Hugo, and Flo, or what?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just. So it's one Irene. First person is Irene. The second one is Solowit, right?
ธนากร
Oh, sorry. Salakon, Solowit, and Chotipat, right?
Yes.
Okay. For the team 6, who's pitching? Who's debating first? Who go first? Team 6.
Oh, Kavi.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kavi,
it's
what
me.
go first, right? Then Kavi, what, and then who?
เป็นขนกวาน and then เป็นยาพัด and me.
Okay. Kavi, what, Kanokwan, Benjapat, and then me. All right. That's great. Okay. All right. So you guys have 5 minutes each for each debater, right? We will go for a support team first, and then go for against team. I will allow the audience to pick the team that they like after each round of debating. All right. You guys ready? All right. So you have 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. Control the times well, and if you're ready, please, Irene, you can start now. The floor is yours.
Okay ค่ะOkay, let me start. No one
there's
should
a
be
lot of.
left behind. Climate change could be the biggest threat to the world and humanity for some people, but without solving inequality, climate change will not be solved. Inequality based on income, sex, age, disability, sexual orientation, race, class, ethnicity, religion, and opportunity continue to persist across the world. Do you really think that we will achieve sustainable development and make the world sustainable for all by solving just climate change but not inequality? If the people are still excluded from the chance for a better life, my answer would be no, we won't. Why? Because as big as climate change problem is, by the nature of people, we tend to care more about what we are facing today, what are we dealing with directly right now, than what is going to happen in 10 or 100 years. There are people out there who have no chance but to struggle and have no choice but to choose themselves and families over anything just to survive the unfairness in their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the biggest threat to the world and humanity, inequality. As you may know, inequality can come in different forms, in more than you could ever imagine. Moreover, almost 2 in 10 people having personal experience discrimination on international grounds. What I want to point out from mentioning this example is that inequality threatening long-term social and economic development harms poverty reduction and destroys people's self-worth. In return, it can breed crime, disease, and environmental shame. It is obvious that we have been familiar with the words climate change or global warming for ages, but still couldn't solve them. I understand. I do. I really do. That it won't be solved in a short period of time. But what do you think keep getting worse? If we have been aware of it for so long, why does the situation isn't developed in a better way, but happens to be another way around? Well, it is because there is still inequality, the overlooked biggest threat behind any climate change problem. When there is inequality, some kids can't get the right education they deserve. When there is inequality, different races, different genders aren't treated the same. When there is inequality, disabled people have less opportunities in their lives. When there is inequality, there is no economic balance. It can lead to financial crisis, death, and inflation. How does this sound? Sound miserable to me. What is happening to the world that should be a home for everyone? Is it a home or a hell? Inequality is bigger than you think, isn't it? Even if we pretend to forget about problem of global warming like when we didn't know about it decades ago, there still be inequality. There were privileges, there were slaves. Remember? From this, it is clear that climate change doesn't cause inequality. In contrast, inequality is the root of it all. I repeat, climate change doesn't solve I repeat, the climate change doesn't cause inequality. But in contrast, inequality is the root of it all. However, a fairer world is possible. It's not too late to create a home that comforts everyone, not just a fortunate few. And just remember, we can't solve climate change without solving inequality. Thank you.
Wait up. Who's applauding? Okay, that's great. That's good. That's a really good open statement. I think it's will be a very tough job for Kaviwat to gain the momentum from after Irene pitch. Are you ready, Kaviwat?
Yeah, sure.
Wow, you look cool today, yeah?
Thank you. Okay, let me start.
Okay,
Hello, I'm
go ahead.
from I'm
Go ahead.
Kuriwat from the Against team. I'm against that the climate change is the biggest threat to the world and humanity until we see inequalities. As I just said that the climate change is the problem that is unsolvable. I'm totally disagree with that. If we stop emitting greenhouse gas today, the rise of the temperature in the global will begin to flatten within a few years. And do you think that your problem wasn't the caused by the climate change? Let me tell you that we are in the midst of the crisis now, climate change. The devastating loss of bio- biodiversity are the greatest threat that humanity has ever faced, and one greatly of our own creations. In fact, global warming has very likely intensified global economics inequalities too, including a 25% increase in population over the past half centuries and more in the futures. In many countries, they ignore this problem and still develop economics while increasing emissions. This problem affects many aspects of human life, such as economy and society, environment and ecosystem, health and well-being. These are all sources of inequalities. I didn't say that um, global warming isn't the problem that have the weight balance with the inequality, but it is the root of it. Also, in the long term, it will cause natural disasters such as flooding in residential areas, agriculture areas, temperature increase in fishery areas, and extreme weather events. These are all the costs that will increase the inequality problem. As I mentioned, for the health, the mental illness, and also increasing risk of infection respectively. On the economic side, in developing countries, government will have to pay to fix this problem instead of developing in other sectors, which most of it are loans. Imagine the world with no place to live, no food to eat, and no life. Can we call it a home? Can we live in that place? As you can see, these are very basic human needs. Why don't we stop focusing on the unsolved and solve the root of it? If we start now, we will have the place to live and will solve what is the cause of inequalities. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Um, no clapping hands, right? It's okay. Let me just send you the uh, topic two round one vote in the group line. All right. Again, if you are in the debating team, you don't have to vote. All right. Let the audience vote for you. Okay. Oh, Okay, so team one, you're together, right? Okay. Okay. That's real teamwork there. And you got Hok Lok Siu as your supporter as well, so that's great. That's that's a cheat. That's a not fair stuff, right? Okay, next we have wait up. Wait. I still have a minute left to vote, right? I'll be gentle. I'll be very kind this session. Next we will have Kun Thanakon as the debater for the support teams, right? And then we will have
Yes.
Kun Benjapat, all right? Benjapat, sorry, which it's a black against white. Why Kun Ploy and Toplin, like, why don't you wear white, black like them?
I don't know.
All right, okay. Cool. So I think it's time. All right, okay. I close the vote now. Pinning, can you close the vote for me too as well? Thank you, Kap. All right. So Kun Thanakon, if you're ready, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. So the climate change does not cause inequality. How can you say global warming causes inequality when social stratification and racism has been introduced to the world long ago before global warming? If you do some research, you will find that global warming was first introduced to the world in 1830s and started to get bad in 1950s, while social stratification system has been here since 7,000 to 10,000 years BCE. Do you know 71% of world population live in a country where inequality has grown? Do you know how many million people has died from inequality in a year? I'm not saying climate change is not important, but how can people care about climate change if they can't even take good care of themselves? Now, riches and poor are separated by a lot. More than half of the world population holds only 1.4% of the global wealth, and the global richest 1% have more than twice as much wealth as 6.9 billion people, or 80% of global population. So, almost half of the humanity is living on less than $5.5 a day. So you are saying people should solve climate change first, but the solution for this can cost them a lot. And take this for example, there are new technology that is eco-friendly, like electric vehicle. People always wish to this technology to reduce the global warming, but they couldn't. Why? Because they can't afford it. It's too expensive for them. So basically, more than half of the world only make enough money to live day by day. If you're in this position, would you mind take any action for climate change? It's not that they don't want to take any action for climate change, but it's that they don't have the chance, they don't have the power, they don't have the resources that they can put in any action to help solve the problem. Imagine if they only have this. They'll be ready to solve the problem. And nowadays, inequality has affected many people's lives in various ways. Let's look at some examples. For education, 1 out of every 5 children will not be allowed to go to school. Every 100 boys of primary school age who are out of school, 121 girls are denied the right to go to education. So, you see here, public services are suffering from chronic underfunding or being outsourced to private companies that exclude the poorest people. In many countries, a decent education or quality healthcare has become luxury. Only rich can afford it. It has profound implications for the future of our children and the opportunity that they will have to live a better and longer life. And if they don't have a proper education, how can they know about these problems? How can they be a part of this revolution? And health. You know, every day 10,000 people die because of lack of access to affordable healthcare. Each year, 100 million people are forced into an extreme poverty due to healthcare costs. In most countries, having money is like a passport to a better health and a longer life, while being poor is all too often mean more sickness and earlier grave. People from poor communities can expect to die 10 or 20 years earlier than people who live in wealthy areas. In some developing countries, a child from a poor family is twice as likely to die before the age of 5 than a child from a rich family. They can't even assure that they will live a good life. What will make them come to care about the global scale problem? Now, the growing gap between rich and poor is undermining the fight against poverty. damaging our economies, and tearing apart our societies. So now ask yourself again, if you're in this position that you cannot afford a proper life, a good life, would you take any action for climate change? Or would you try to solve your own problem and improve your life first? Thank you.
All right. Okay. Enough. Uh, that's good. I like the ending question. I would rather solve my problem before climate change. Maybe I can solve the same problem in the same times. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Next one up is Kun Benyapat, right?
กนกวรรณค่ะ Benyapat is right here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's Benyapat. That Kanokwan. Okay. I mix it up. All right. Okay, Kun Kanokwan, if you're ready, please. The floor is yours.
As you mentioned earlier that inequality has made climate change harder to tackle, I disagree. Because even though solving inequality will help millions out of extreme poverty and reduce income inequalities, unmanaged climate change will threaten to set back that progress by damaging poverty eradication efforts and disproportionately affecting the poorest regions and people. The evidence is mounting. A World Bank report estimated that an additional 68 to 135 million people could be pushed into poverty by 2030 because of climate change. If the most dire projections of future economic damages hold true, climate change would reverse the gains of the past few decades and cause inequality to rise again. The impacts of climate change also risk worsening inequality. We are already seeing the economic impacts of the changing climate both directly and indirectly. Take the agricultural sector as an example. Agricultural sector will be affected by flooding, increased heat, and drought. For every degree Celsius the global thermostat rises, there will be a 5 to 15% decrease in overall crop production. And as farmers struggle to stay afloat by finding ways to adapt to changing conditions, prices will likely increase and be passed along to consumers. While people with higher incomes can offset this rising inflation with rising incomes, sadly, income inequality and rising inflation can entrap lower income households in poverty. Climate change and its impact across the globe can also damage infrastructure, causing a loss of value of assets. Drought will make water more expensive, pushing the burden on consumer sides and restricting the poor to afford high utility costs. Economically, poor people are the most vulnerable to the effects of floods and other natural disasters, and suffer greater consequences from them than the rich people. Moreover, increasing warmth and precipitation will also add to the risk of waterborne and foodborne diseases and allergies, and spur the proliferation of insects that spread like diseases like Zika and West Nile into new territories. The most vulnerable populations, the elderly, children, low-income communities, and communities of color will be most affected by these health impacts. Needless to say, climate change has exacerbated global economic inequality. The effects of climate change can be expected to shape 11 to 14% of global economic output by 2050, compared with growth levels without climate change. That amounts to as much as $23 trillion in reduced annual economic output as a result of climate change. Some Asian nations could have one-third less growth than would otherwise be the case. For poorer nations, which tend to be more exposed to warmer temperatures but have less ability to adapt their infrastructure and economies in response, the consequences would be far more dire. According to the Swiss Re model, a 3.2-degree increase by 2050, which is considered as the severe case for temperature gains, levels of wealth in Thailand would drop almost by half compared with a world with no climate change. The gaps of inequality are widening. Socially and economically disadvantaged groups bear the brunt of climate change and other environmental risks. Whether making comparisons between or within countries, the poorest and most vulnerable tend to be more exposed, lose a greater share of their wealth when disaster strikes, and have fewer resources to cope with the consequences, highlighting the gaps of inequality. Because poverty, inequality, and economic opportunity are directly shaped by environmental risks, so tackle climate change now or later worsen inequality. Thank you.
A machine gun non-stop. How can you breathe? All right, okay. That's great. So that's the end of the second bar of the second topic. Let me just post this into the group line for other people, for other audience to vote. All right. Okay. Cool. Let's vote. So the next one up from the for the team number one is Mr. Solowit, and the next one up from the team number 6 is Kun Benjalat. Okay, so this time it's your now. Are you ready? I am not ready. So let's wait another a minute also to let other audience to vote in the Google form, right? So Kun Kanok One, Kun Benjapat are together, right?
Yes ค่ะ
Okay, and Kun Ploy are not. Kun Ploy is not.
Ploy is here too.
Oh, Kun Ploy is here too. But why don't you do like the three black ladies in the same time? And why could be what is separated like that? Who are you, man? Okay, I think it's 2 minutes now. Pinning clap. Let's close the vote. I will unsend the form now. Okay, that's great. So now it's Kun Salawit up for the third round of the second topic today. All right, Kun Salawit, when you're ready, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yes, climate change may help solve many problems. That is why many try to solve climate change, but they all fail. Why? That is because in unequal countries, the poor still suffer from their financial costs. So they don't care about climate policies from the government. Therefore, in more unequal societies, governments have less desire to pursue and announce climate policies. Actually, there are many government policies to help the environment and reduce greenhouse gas emission, but that isn't successful. The reason is because many countries are attempting to offset some of the impact of climate policies on people's wallet. When the poor are only generate enough money to survive, and it depends on the balance of political power in the global economy. As long as a few rich countries have the power to set the rules to their own advantage, inequality will continue to worsen. Moreover, energy-efficient technology like EV cars and solar panels require heavy resources and money, which the poor cannot acquire. Imagine if the wealth is distributed evenly among the country, and the government helps subsidize the cost towards renewable energy. People will be more willingly to contribute towards climate policies. Now, let's look at another problem that is caused by inequality: pollution. Pollution might sound like a consequence of climate change, but the truth is, inequality is the one who causes it. Those with higher income and wealth have greater greenhouse gas emissions. In the richest 10% of the world population emits many greenhouse gases as they are responsible for almost 50% of global emission. Because those in richest countries tend to waste more energy due to their abundance in resources. But in unequal or lower income countries, they also generate high levels of pollution. They create more waste, eat more meat, and produce more carbon dioxide, because those in more unequal societies experience status anxiety, that they more likely to aim for unattainable consumption goals set by the rich. So therefore, they tend to consume more energy and waste at a faster rate. Inequality doesn't allow people to have a choice to choose for a greener alternatives. That is why we can't solve climate change before inequality. That is why inequality is a bigger threat than climate change. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thank you. Okay, now คุณเบญญพัฒน์ it's your turn now. All right, if you're ready, please take it away.
As you mentioned that people have no access to food and hospital, don't you think that climate change is the main cause of this problem? We didn't say to solve inequality, but we say that we should solve climate change first, as it's a priority problem. If there's no earth, how can there be humans? No humans, so no inequality. When the climate hazard hits, disadvantaged groups suffer disproportionate loss of income and assets. This is why most people don't have that accessibility. Climate change makes inequality worse. Do you know that agriculture and fisheries are also dependent on the climate? Increases in temperature and carbon dioxide can increase some crop yields in some places. However, changes in frequency and severity of drought and floods can pose challenge for farmers and ranchers and threaten food safety. Meanwhile, warmer water temperature are likely to cause habitat ranges of many fish to shift, which could disrupt ecosystem. I think there are four main impacts of climate change on the environment and ecosystem. First of all, climate change affects crop and food production. Due to climate change, many crops and productivity of food production decreases. Consequently, there is lower food supply, causing food prices to rise. This threatens the economy and increases poverty, which may cause people to adopt less healthful diets. Since healthy food becomes expensive, people turn to junk food, which is cheaper. Poor diets lead to hunger, malnutrition, and obesity. According to the CDC, the nutritional value of certain food may decrease due to climate change, as there are more toxic chemicals. Experts predict that increased carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere and changes to the nutrient in the soil will result in fewer nutrients in many crops. Therefore, climate change negatively alters the production of crops and food. Secondly, climate change worsens the problem of air pollution. An increase in greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide in the atmosphere can pose a high risk to health. Higher level of dust, ozone, and fine particles in the air can all reduce air quality and cause a range of health issues, for example, asthma, lung cancer. Furthermore, warmer temperature can lead to an increase in pollen production. This is because an increase in carbon dioxide can lead to higher levels of allergens from the plants. A combination of warmer weather and more rainfall can lead to increased dampness and create more mold indoors. This condition can also cause breathing problems. Long exposure to bacteria and air can worsen human health. Exposure to toxins and chemical affect climate change can have negative effect to neurological health. According to National Institute of Environmental Health and Science, scientists believe that environmental factors play a role in development of both Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. Climate change also results in a loss of habitat and the extinction of certain animal species. One of the most major causes of the climate change is deforestation. People often cut down trees in order to clear land for construction and creating more living space to accommodate the increasing population. Since trees absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen into the atmosphere, deforestation results in higher level amount of carbon dioxide and lower amount of oxygen in the atmosphere, worsening the problem of greenhouse effect. As a result of deforestation, forests are destroyed and wild animals lose their habitats. Consequently, many animals die during the process of deforestation. Without forests, animals cannot survive. According to the World Wide Fund Australia, Asian elephants, tigers, and koalas are vulnerable to extinction because of deforestation. Many habitats are destroyed and species become extinct. It is clear that the biodiversity and ecosystem are adversely impacted. Finally, climate change results in severe flooding and flash flood, which can be very dangerous. When flooding occurs, not only are animals in danger due to loss of habitat, but people are also in danger as well. Approximately 89 people die each year in the US as a result of flooding. People have to leave their homes and migrate when there is flooding. In addition, flooding also affects crops and massively decreases food supply. Therefore, not only do people have to suffer their homes, but they have to also face increase in food costs as well. Therefore, I think that climate change has a greater impact on environment and ecosystem than inequality, especially in terms of food production, air pollution, loss of animal habitats, and flooding. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Vincent Japat. Oh, okay. All right. Lots of people cheer you up. That's great. Okay. Okay, that's nice. All right. So, guys, who's the audience, right? I will just recently send you the link to vote um, into the group line. So you have again 2 minutes to vote. So, Kun Ploy, how do you feel? Do you think your team is gonna win?
I think yes, but I feel a bit nervous.
Okay. You've been nervous. You nervous? I don't think so. All right. So the sound is from you, right?
From to be what?
Oh, from Kaviwat. Okay. That's why you are the technician guys in the teams, right? Okay. So okay, that's enough. That's not funny at all. All right. Okay, let's wait for another 40 seconds or so. To conclude, we have Kun Shotipat from Team 1, and we do have Kun Teshika from Team 6 as the conclusion. Man, all right. So, all right, cool. Okay, พี่หนึ่งครับ, let's close the board for the third round of the second topic. I will unsend the things in the group line. All right. Um, wait up. Okay, Shotipat, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. If you're ready, the floor is yours. Let's close the session strong. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much for those information. But if we look deeper, we will realize that inequality is behind all of it. You say that we need to save the world, or else tomorrow we won't have anything to eat. Well, 600 million people already have nothing to eat today. However, the world's farmers produce enough food to feed 1.5 times the global population. That is why that is enough to feed 10 billion people every single year. So it's not that we don't have enough food, but it's because of financial inequalities that causes millions of people to not have enough money for food. So no matter how bad climate change is, if inequality still exists here today, then these problems will still exist. You say that we need to save the Earth, and yet scientists argue that the Earth is fine. It will be here long after we humans render ourselves extinct. It is us that need saving first. Nelson Mandela once said, "We are all floating on the same sea. If some of us are in super yacht, while others are clinging to the floating debris, then changes cannot be expected." 20 years ago, we say that we are going to reuse and recycle. We all say that we are going to walk instead of drive. We all say that we are going green. But look at where we are today. Despite all the effort to solve climate change, we end up somewhere worse from where we are 20 years ago. This proves that there is something wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, there is something wrong. The reason why we can't solve climate change is because of inequality. All the things I just mentioned to you, recycling, reusing, going green, walking, all of it won't matter if all of us don't do it. But how can we expect to solve climate change when most people in the world still live in poverty? How can we expect 600 million people who can't even find food to eat, who can't even save themselves, to save the planet? No matter what kind of inequalities, whether it's racism, whether it's poverty, whether it's financial inequalities, if these words still exist, then we can't go anywhere. With all the evidence my teammates present to you today, you cannot deny that inequality is the biggest threat to us all. Every single issue in the world can be traced back to inequalities, whether it's war, discrimination, financial crisis, healthcare, and so much more. Speaking of healthcare, I'm sure that other team would say, oh, climate change causes health issues, not inequalities. Well, let me ask you this. If climate change really causes healthcare, then why are rich people living twice as long as the poor? Twice. The answers all comes down to money. With financial inequality, the poor will never have enough money to afford good healthcare. Therefore, the only way to solve world issues, to solve climate change, is to solve inequality first. I stand before you today not to ask you to choose whether climate change or inequalities, but because there is one truth, and that is there is only one problem behind those two issues, and that is unity. It's time for us to realize that we are not apart from each other, but we are a part of each other, and that it will take every single person to solve not just inequality, not just climate change, but any other problems. That is why we truly believe that a single straw cannot change anything. But together we can and we will solve climate change and inequality. So my last question to the other team is, how can you expect 600 million people who are dying to solve something like climate change? Thank you all very much.
Wow. Show me the money. Show me the money. That's a strong closing question. That's great. That's great. Okay. Poor spaghetti. Poor spaghetti. Okay, Kun Ploy, are you ready to challenge
Yes,
Chotipat?
ka.
Okay. All right. Okay, Kun Ploy, if you're ready, the floor is yours. Let's close it strong.
As you mentioned earlier about inequality in food and water, I am certain that the core problem is climate change. If climate change wasn't real, water would be clean and food wouldn't be contaminated. Adding on accessibility to hospital, if climate change doesn't happen, people will have clean air to breathe and, as I said, clean food to eat, which will lessen patients affected by risks from climate change. Inequality is not the root cause. Solving inequality before climate change won't prevent those aspects from happening again. I would like to bring up the point of the damage of climate change on health and wellness. Humans' health views climate change as the biggest threat as it causes significant risks in many ways. For example, natural disaster and extreme weather events can cause injury, mental health issue, increased risk of infection and death. Extreme changes in weather and environment can also increase existing health problems as well as creating new ones. Damage to infrastructure can also cause long-term setback to health and well-being. Moreover, increase in pollution, toxin, allergens in the environment can all lead to an increase in respiratory and heart diseases. Health problems caused by climate change also downgrade quality of life caused by the inequality of social support structure, as many individuals don't have access to health care or cannot afford one. These climate-sensitive health risks are disproportionately felt by most vulnerable and disadvantaged. While climate change causing their health problems, this problem may not weigh this much. Furthermore, extreme weather and natural disaster can affect people's mental health, leading them to some symptoms that can lead to some serious health issues. the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, has statistically proven that suicide rate increase because of climate change and higher temperatures, which have a negative effect on depression and other mental health conditions. And also, according to the World Health Organization, between 2030 and 2050, climate change is expected to cause approximately 250,000 additional deaths per year from malnutrition, malaria, diarrhea, and heat stress. This alone also creates direct damage caused to health, which is estimated to be around 2 to 4 billion US dollar per year by 2030. When solving the problem, dig at the roots instead of just hacking the leaves. Why don't we solve the root cause and prevent inequality from happening repeatedly, from generation to generation? It will take some time to solve this issue, but sooner we start, the better outcome would be. Or else, it will be harder to solve in the future and worsen other aspects, including inequality. 33 years ago, people lacked of knowledge about climate change, which resulted in less action being taken in order to solve this issue. Today, sea creatures are slowly dying and ice floes are constantly melting. The issue is real and we must act and we must do something. How crucial it is and how significant it can be. We can find suitable solution only if we act together and stop climate change from destroying not just our generation, but the next generation. Our team will still insist that inequality is the biggest threat to the world and humanity only after we solve climate change. And for that reason, climate change is happening now. We must act now. Everyone has a role to play and we cannot wait. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay. Okay, that's great. All right. Thank you there for a couple of minutes, right? Let me send all this the link to the guys as an audience first. All right. So the round 4 of the second topics vote has been launched to the group line. Okay. I give you 2 minutes to fill. So team 1 and team 6, how do you feel? Greg? So you happy with your performance? You happy with your sessions? Good? Good? Okay, that's great. I think it's quite. I think it's a really interesting topic to talk with. I mean, inequalities and climate change are always like the problem that we have encountered, not just now, but I mean since ages, right? So I really like the way you present the problem statement. I really like the way you guys emphasize the importance of the issue. So good job. All right. Some of you have a lot of inner and trying to connect with the audience with at the emotional level, which is very good. Okay.
I almost
Hamdi,
cried
let's
here on it.
please don't. I almost cried for your spaghetti as well. So don't be. All right. Okay. Let's take a group photo. All right. Okay. Let's take a group photo. Idea Matt and Hugo, why don't you just? Okay. 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 That's better. That's better. All right. Look at the camera. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Can I give you big smile, please? Big smile. 1, 2, 3, cheese. That is nice. Okay. Thank you, guys, for the fruitful sessions. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Okay. So the black team and the white team, right? So what is the no team? Trader. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Good job. Good job. All right. So I close the vote now. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, guys. All right. That's quick. So the third debate topic up, which is science is more crucial than art for the world to become more sustainable. I think that's one of the super interesting topic as well. We heard a lot about we should go for a Bachelor of Arts rather than Bachelor of Science. We should go for Science rather than Art and so on. So we have Team 7, which is the support teams, and we have Team 8 for the against team. All right, so Team 7 and Team 8, if you are ready, please join and turn on the camera. Okay, Team 7, that's great. So who's pitched first? So there'll be Taya first for Team 7, and then following by 8. If you are ready, please join. So Taya, Panaton, Natchapak, and Win, right? Wait up. So Taya is first. Taya, Panaton second, and Natchapak is the third one, and you're closing with Thanapon. All right, good job. So what about Team 8? Who's first?
He's gonna go first, Cup.
Okay, so you so we know we go first, right?
No, B. B is
Oh,
going
B.
first.
Okay, B. Pimnapa. Right? Okay, Pimnapa we go first, following by
มีครับ
who's me?
นัชนนท์
Nikki.
ฮะ
Nachanon, and then
Pisharat's Cup.
Pisharat. Okay, Pisharat the third, and then the closing guys will be Akharanand, yeah?
Yes, Cup.
Okay, good. So the Team 7 will be the support teams, and Team 8 will be against team.
Yep.
Give me a second. Right. All right, cool. So there will be Taya against Pimnipa.
ค่ะ
Good match. All right. So Taya, Kun Taya, if you're ready, the floor is yours. You get 5 minutes each. Let's spend it wisely. Take it away.
Good morning to the respected speaker, cautious timekeeper, honorable judges, member of the teams, and member of the floor. Before I put my case today, I would like to define today's motion. We believe that science is more crucial than arts for the world to become more sustainable. Today, as the first speaker, I trust in creating knowledge and understanding through science equips us to find solutions to today's economic, social, environmental challenges, and to achieving sustainable development and greener society. Scientific knowledge can improve the quality of life at many different levels, from routine working of our everyday lives to global issues. Science informs public policy and personal decision-making on energy conservation, agriculture, health, transportation, communication, defense, economics, leisure, and exploitation. It's almost impossible to overstate how many aspects of modern life are impacted by science. Once science combined with emotion, political actions, and other factors, we can see how powerful a force for good it can become. Linking science to the society, public understanding of science, the participation of citizens in science are essential to creating societies where people are able to make personal, professional, and political choices, and to participate in the stimulating world of discovery. Because science is valued by the society because of the application of science knowledge. It helps us to satisfy many basic human needs and improving living standards such as informed regulation, improve modern agriculture, and enhancing education. So science informs regulation because it gives us how to manual for reaching outcomes that we decide. For example, it helps us to provide water for our basic needs because water is fundamental for life, and it also ensures that the water is safe, security of the water, because it is essential to peace and sustainable development. And also scientific understanding of water cycle, the distribution and characteristic of surface and groundwater, of urban water, and it also contribute to wise management of fresh water for a healthy environment and to respond to humans' needs. Science also creates modern agriculture. As science has transformed the way we eat today, in 1940s, biologists began developing the variety of corn, wheat, and rice, which when paired with new fertilizer developed by chemists caused an increase in the amount of food that could be harvested in a single field, or like it increased the efficiency of like harvesting. These science-based technologies trigger changes in agriculture by increasing the efficiency and also the amount of food available to feed the world, while also transforming the economic structure of agricultural practices. And lastly, science is one of the most important channels of education. Science generates solutions for everyday lives and helps us to answer many great mysteries of the universe. It has a very specific role as well as many variety of functions for the benefit of our society, like creating new knowledge, improving education, increasing the quality of life, and because of science, students are allowed to access online learning courses relating to sustainability, which their understanding in sustainability could help raise awareness in sustainability and also produce more technology to make world become more sustainable. I would like to conclude my points that science enhances society and creates a sustainable future. It informs policy and promotes our health and safety as it shapes your personal decision making. And scientific knowledge also helps inform regulatory decision making and policy, better lives of individual, and make the world become more sustainable.
Oh, thank you. Good stuff. All right, getting interesting now. So, science is, from Kuntaya perspective, is clearly has a much larger impact on sustainability development in the world. So, Kun Pimnipa, do you have anything to against it?
Yes,
I hope you do.
well,
Okay,
thank you
okay.
for the
So,
opening. Thank you for the
go
opening
ahead, go ahead.
statement. I tend to disagree with your point. Modern agriculture might have created comfort and convenience for farmer, but is it considered to be eco-friendly in long term? Have you heard about the irrigation? Water diversion for agriculture are a major problem for aquatic species. And what about the fertilizer? The use and abuse of fertilizer is a major source of nutrition loading in the world's water. And as the worlds are changing, from a helpless start as a species hunting and gathering food to becoming more advanced as the year goes by. However, those human development, those steps will not be happening with science and technology alone. We as a developed species because of art. Let me ask you a question. Start by a simple question. What is art? It is a painting, it is a language, or is it emotion? Well, to this day, it's quite hard to explain or define the real definition of art. But one thing that we're certain about is that humanity all starts with arts. Without art, we won't be able to communicate or to express ourselves. We would be stuck in the prehistoric age. Why? Because civilization requires communication. And communication is considered to be part of art, right? Can you imagine a world without art? A world where humans still haven't got a gift of communication. It would be a lonely and depressing place. Art is subjective. To you, it might mean only just a painting. But in fact, it's much bigger than that. It's a field of art that covers almost every aspect of humanity, from emotion to entertainment, from joy to sadness, from misery to compassion. In the first place, let's start with one of the biggest global crises right now, climate change, right? The climate change is the most prized product of science, ranging from car, factories, and many more. And guess why people start caring about the environment? It's because of compassion. It's because we want to save the environment. It's because we can't stand seeing a product of ourselves, the invention of human-made that we create, have destroyed everything that ever came before us. Because we can't stand seeing our fellow living things have to bear up the consequence that we have done. It's all because compassion. Without art, we won't be able to express ourselves or express dissatisfaction with the world like Greta Thunberg. Everybody knows her, right? She won't be standing in front of the UN last September, and she won't know how to express herself without art. And bigger than that, she won't gonna care about the climate change at the very first place. Is it was her compassion? With science, we bring harm to the environment, and with art, we are trying to fix it. Not only that, art is a creativity, but it's a big force of driving sustainability. We are always trying to think of a new way to help with the climate change, and thinking is required creativity, right? Without it, we would still be living in calculating, punching the number to find the most efficient way to live. And without compassion, we still be thinking only for ourselves and living for ourselves. And without communication and language, we would still be stuck in the idea that we can express. And without art, we won't have the world that we live in today.
Okay, that's great. Good stuff from Kun Pim Nipa. Let me just give me a couple of seconds to send the link to the guys. Okay, the guys in the audience. So I recently send you the vote for third topic in round one. So please, you have 2 minutes to vote. Next up for the support team will be who? Will be Kun Panaton, right?
Yes, it's me.
Yes. Okay, cool. There will be Kun Panaton versus Kun Natchanon. All right, let's wait for a minute or so to let your friends vote for you. So you look thirsty, Kun Pinipa. Bring more water. I like this topic a lot. That's why and I think it will be very difficult to define which is like more superior than others. That's why we need BAScii, right? That's why we have Bachelor of Art and Science. Okay, so that's it. 2 minutes now. Pinin, can you please close the vote? I will unsend the things. And Kun Panaton, if you're ready, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Good morning. As a second speaker, I will present one argument and will also refuse the argument presented by the opposite team. Even though art can be used as one of the mediums to help raise awareness about climate change, most of the artwork contains and releases toxic chemical substances that can put humans' health and the environment at risk. According to researchers, the creation of a new form of art has a stunning environmental footprint of over 200 kilograms of planet-warming carbon, or equivalent to driving 500 miles in a typical American gasoline-powered car. Therefore, the second reason why we agree with the statement science is more crucial than art for the world to become more sustainable is because science helps reduce climate change. Sustainability science is expected to seek opportunities to reduce threats of climate change. This new kind of science brings together scientific and experiential knowledge, and at the same time, it also serves as a medium for alternative solutions. Thus, sustainability science can be used to shape public policy related to climate change. First, science helps identify the causes and potential impacts. Science has made enormous inroads in understanding climate change and its causes, and is beginning to help develop a strong understanding of the current and potential impact that will affect people today and in incoming decades. This understanding is crucial because it allows decision makers to place climate change in the context of their other largest challenges facing the nation and the world.
Back in the early 1960s, scientists recognized an emissions increase in carbon dioxide into the atmosphere has grown beyond their expectations because these gases trap heat and warm the earth. As the greenhouse trapped heat from the sun, scientists concluded that increasing level of greenhouse gas would increase global warming. In doing so, science built a foundation for understanding how our lives are impacted by climate change and what we can do to slow or reverse these changes. The study of climate change doesn't focus just on what makes changing climate important. It studies how it will affect people around the world. Second, science contributes to technology development and expands questions from what is happening to what is happening and what can we do about it. Science can help answer both of these questions. In addition to the extensive body of research on the causes and consequences of climate change, there is a growing body of knowledge about technologies that can be used to limit the magnitude of future climate change. Existing climate technologies include wind energy and solar energy. Lastly, foundation in science can be used to develop policies and understanding of steps that can be taken to reduce climate change, and a growing recognition that climate change will need to be considered in action. Since climate change caused by carbon dioxide, many countries such as South Korea, China, Thailand, Singapore, Bangladesh, and South Africa have already applied carbon tax pricing that require emitters to pay for their carbon emissions, or a cap and trade program, which would require businesses to have a permit for each ton of carbon they emit. Once again, I strongly agree that science can contribute a positive impact on the climate change, identify the causes and potential impacts, contribute to technology development, and science can be used to develop policies and understanding of the steps that can be taken to reduce climate change. Thank you.
Okay, that is nice. Then next up, it's Nikki or Natchanon from team oppositions, right?
Yes,ครับ.
Okay, good. Panaton, drink more water. That's great for your health. That's great. All right, Nikki, if you're ready, the floor is yours. Do your best, man.
Okay, thank you. So the support team bring up 3 points that I see. First is that science can help identify costs and potential impacts. Science contribute to the technology development, expand question form, and lastly, foundation in science can be used to develop policies and understanding of the steps that can be taken to reduce climate change. So let me tackle each point one by one. The first one, art help identify cost and potential impact. While science do help identify the cost, but art help clarify it. Have you ever seen a presentation? Every presentation includes graph, chart, or visualization of some sort, because without it, the fact and figure would be boring and you can't really remember it. So let me present you this. Try remember the 2020 carbon emission rate. You can't, right? But if I tell you that, try imagine a turtle choking on a straw. You can clearly visualize it. So the second point is science contribute to technology development and expand the question form. That might be true, but so do art. So let me take you back to the 6th century Greece. Pythagoras, you may know, the father of math. He was a philosophist. Philosophists fall under art, in my opinion. So without art or philosophy, Pythagoras wouldn't be questioning all sort of stuff. So in my argument, I think that all science are rooted within art, especially philosophy. Also, not all the technology advances that human made are helping the world. For example, the invention of cars. The invention of cars really did numbers on the carbon emission. So do factory and stuff like that. And lastly, the point that I'll try to rebut is foundation in science can be used to develop policies and understanding of the steps that can be taken to reduce climate change. So in the first place, the climate change problem has been created by science. as I stated, the product of science is like cars, factory, and stuff like that really shut up the carbon emission rate. So over the entire industrial era, some 2.3 trillion tons of carbon dioxide have been released to the atmosphere. This has come to because of the industrial revolution or the advancement of science. So what I'm trying to say is science is now trying to fix the problem they themselves has created. So let me bring up some new point. So everyone has heard of Greta Thunberg, right? She has been advocaatly speaking about the climate change because she got compassion for the world, like B said. So let's look at her argument. So now the Earth have a 67% chance of staying below a 1.5 degree global temperature rise. This was the best out given by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and we know that for like 2 or 3 years. And what does science do about it? Not really anything, right? So the overall view is science and economic make us care more about the facts and figures more than anything else. So people are looking everything in terms of fact and figure, how much profit they're raking in, how much money they can make, but they not really care about the environment because it's not really effective or efficient. But art and compassion make us care about the earth more. Thank you.
All right, art and compassion make us care about the earth more. All right, that's great. Okay, let me just send the vote to the group line. So the third topic in the round 2 vote, it's already posted in the group line. So you have 2 minutes to fill it up. All right, that's great. Then the next man up is Kun Natchapak, right? And for the team 8 is Kun Picharat. Okay, just give your friend a couple of minutes to vote first. You hear it? You hear the music too? No? Okay. All right. Okay, cool. So if you a couple of seconds more. Time's flying, right? You almost finished the first session of the debate this semester. So all right, cool. That's it. Hidden Cap, let's close the vote. I will unsend the things in the chat, group chat. All right, the team support team. If you're ready, the floor is yours.
So, greeting of the valuable audience, today I will introduce another point to support the beneficial fact that the science gave to the sustain. But first of all, let's discuss on some arguments. Compassion can create motivation, but yet it can create an action. I believe that everyone has a passion for something they're interested in or love, but however, as you can see in our modern world, that not everyone is success in their part and get to really do in the thing that they really want and they really love. So let alone the sustainability. Do you really think that people will do anything just by some impulse from the eco art? It's the reality, I would say. The fact that say the creation of science is also the factor to send a negative impact to the humanity, but isn't the creation of art also does? We couldn't deny the fact that some of art processing and material are related to the chemical substance and it could possibly be toxic. For instance, cadmium, arsenic, lead, polyester resin, fiberglass, and formaldehyde. Not to go down deep, but we all know the meaning of being a toxic substance. Also, keep in mind that a lot of deaths by disease or accident is also prevented and healed by the creation of the thing that you have been said that is cause of every negative thing. Scientific advance progressively allow us to attribute an increase in morbidity and the mortality to human induced warming, and more accurately determine the risks and scale of these health threats. Science is the greatest collective endeavor. It contributes to ensuring longer and healthier life, monitor our health, provide medicine to cure our disease, alleviate ache and pain, help us to provide water for our basic needs. In terms of the medicine, finding a cure for cancer and clean form of energy are just two of the topical examples. A century ago, a diagnosis of juvenile diabetes was an almost of the certain death sentence. Children affected by diabetes rarely live more than a few years. However, thanks to the discovery of insulin in the early of 1920, along with the subsequent scientific breakthrough in the genetic engineering that allow insulin to be mass produced, that the statistics have turned around. Diabetics now live long lives. Diabetes is just one of many diseases and health concerns for which science has helped develop treatments, prevention, and cures. Without science, we wouldn't know how to make an X-ray machine, an artificial knee, how to prevent nutritional deficiencies, how to ward off the cholera and malaria, how to and or even at the most basic level, that hand washing can prevent the spread of germs. In many thousands of ways, science has supplied us with tools to improve human health, not at least of which has been medication to treat disease. In the late of 17th century, Edward Jenner first convincingly showed that vaccination worked. In the 18th century, scientists and doctors established the theory that many diseases are caused by germs. And allow of the 1920s, a biologist discovered that the first antibiotics, from the eradication of smallpox to the prevention of nutritional deficiencies, to successful treatment for one deadly infection. The impact of our modern medicine on global health has been powerful. In fact, without science, many people alive today would have instead died of disease and that are now being easily treated. And in terms of the prediction of the disaster, though we can't predict the earthquake yet, science does have an effective way of predicting when and where hurricane might strike land. Society has put that knowledge to good use. The National Weather Service continually collect data about meteorological patterns and analyze those data based on our scientific understanding of weather system. They may then issue a hurricane warning, which gives the citizens time to get to safety and allow community organizers to prepare for the evacuation and emergencies. Silence is also one of the key major factors that contribute a significant role for our world to achieve the third SDG goals, which are the good health and well-being. Without science, I couldn't how our mankind can stay this lifelong. People would have stuck in the eye of the hurricane with the diabetes as an topping or just an add-on. Science will continuously develop to support the quality of life that every person should have and will secure all the life that have been least taken by the disease. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you for the support team. Then it will be Pisharat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. If you're ready, let's do it.
Okay. Thank you for your points. However, art is better than science in terms of sustainability. For these following reasons, firstly, you mentioned how medicine could help the society. There are many cons to creating medicine that harms the environment. And secondly, the prediction of disaster would be near impossible for science to get to this point without arts. So let's start with the first point. How production of medicine affects the environment. When talking about production of medicine, the worst part is the animal testing. Typically, facilities that engage in animal testing not only dispose of animals, but also dispose of
potentially dangerous chemicals, food waste, and varieties of supplies using the testing process. The testing process that I just said is called the regulatory testing. It is the standardized testing designed to see if the medicine, chemicals such as paints, dyes, inks, petrol products, solvents, tars, waste materials, pesticides, biocides, food additives, cosmetics, and other products are safe for use and that they do the job effectively. In these experiments, animals are forced to eat or inhale these kind of substance or have them rub onto their skins and inject into their bodies. The animal are then subject to further monitoring and testing before almost always being killed, so that researchers can look at the effects on their tissues and organs. Cruelty Free International is successfully encouraging regulators to delete tests that are no longer required from legislations and guidelines, and to adopt non-animals methods that have shown to be safe and effective. However, progress remains slow and much more needs to be done. For example, hundreds and thousands of animals continue to be used worldwide for tests where there are available non-animal methods. After I did some research, according to the NIH, National Institute of Health, waste from the animal testing facilities totaled of 1.5 million pounds from 2011 to 2013. In another case, a major pharmaceutical lab was responsible for producing almost 15 tons of animal waste in just only 1 year. The production of medicine. Also, the product of medicine can produce a pollution of water systems where pharmaceuticals are released into the environment and reach aquatic systems such as lakes, oceans, river, and groundwater. The pharmaceutical plants are often incapable of filtering out all the chemicals compounds used in the manufacturing process, such as the chemicals will seep into the surrounding freshwater systems, eventually into the oceans, lakes, streams, and river, and will mostly kill life under the sea or people living near the lake or near the oceans. The second point is predicting the disaster. Art is one of the few reasons that could lead scientists to have new inventions, which led to the world becoming more sustainable. As one example, Charles Messier, a French astronomer from 18th centuries, had a catalog of about 110 drawings from his journals, which is the observations of the night sky. Although the documenting many categories, Leonardo da Vinci, widely known as the abstract artist, found that his drawings lead to many scientific discoveries. These all prove that without arts, there would be no science, therefore leading to no disaster prediction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pisharat. That's quick. Let me just. Okay, the third round voting for the third debating topic is up now. All right. So 2 more minutes to vote. Then we're having the closing statement from each team, which lead by Kun Thanapol from team 7 and Kun Akaranan from team 8. Yeah?
Yep.
All right, that's great. So winner is having the right. You got hotspot on already and everything's fine?
Yep.
Okay, that's good. Okay, let's wait for your friend to vote for another minute or so. It would be so much much more fun if we can do it like on site, so we can see each other and we can do some bluffing with each other for each team. So, but I think this is the best thing we can do now. Hopefully the situation is getting better and we can do it on site next time. Okay, time's up. พี่หนึ่งครับรบกวน please close the vote and I will unsend the things in the chat. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, Thanapon, are you ready?
ครับ
Okay, you
All
need a
right.
strong closing statement now. So let's hit it, man.
Sure. Okay, good morning to all the audience. As the first speaker, I want to represent another argument that strongly support our sides and also want to oppose the claim that it's not like the claim that the animal waste and pollution happen because of silence is like it leads to not sustainable. I think it's not true. In order to be sustainability, I think we need to test and experiment a lot to let scientific method to lead to the world to be more sustainability. Imagine science had done to us, it brought us to civilization, convenience, growth, answer to sustainability. Because science helped us to find the root cause of climate change. Without science, no one could solve the mystery. Scientific and innovator invent electric car that not only for convenience, but also do not to produce any carbon dioxide that cause the climate change. And now I want to claim that science beneficially help the field of intermediate transport technology to suit the need of developing country and the field of energy where reduce consumption, cheaper energy and cheaper transportation technique that we should be sold. Potential application of science are numerous for most areas so far as infrastructure are concerned for conceptual oriental method, from modeling technique, various tools for engineering, investigation, and control construction. As far as equipment is concerned, they include material, tool, expertise, and off-the-shelf components. Useful items are available for developing, operation, and maintenance transport in all modes. Science and technology is the application of scientific knowledge to solve the perceived or advertised and practical problems. The application of science and technology had made a tremendous impact in transportation all over the world. For example, science with the help of technology had led to the construction of reliable road, rail, and bridges, which has made transportation easier and comfortable, which increased the possibility of the production of car, aircraft, ship, and boat that made the transportation of people more convenient. To help and enhance the international trade among the countries of the world, and also construct the airport and seaport. And last but not least, to ensure that speed in the movement of people and goods from one location to another. Moreover, science play a crucial role in developing sustainability transportation, such as an EV car and hybrid vehicle that are driven by green energy, lessen the need of fossil fuels, as well as serving the convenience among the individuals. The use of scientific method can help this type of sustainability transportation to be more energy efficient by using an alternative fuels and less emission produced, which lead to be more sustainable world. For example, there are a study from Massachusetts Institute of Technology Energy Initiative found that the total emission of CO2 per mile for battery-powered car are lower than the comparable normal car with the internal combustion engine almost 3 times. And also, according to Russian Measure, who is a transport analyst at TNE, his analysis showed that the electric vehicle emits 64% less of CO2, including all different stages, such like an electric generation and fuel production. Also, their analysis from him showed that the raw material that need for EV battery pale to the comparison to fuel burned by fossil fuel car, which unlike the battery cannot be recycled. Also, in this position statement, I offer a rationale for expanding our view of science education to address the sustainability, development, empowerment, and social transformation. Science education ought to be a primary vehicle for addressing the current and emerging global challenges facing the humanity. All too often, Science educator may focus upon fostering awareness and concern for global challenges. Thank you.
All right, great. So winner, this is the last shot now. So you need to overcome those claims from the support team. Are you ready?
Yes, Hub.
Okay, if you're ready, give me your best shot, man. All right, the
Okay.
floor is yours.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Win, for your arguments and points. However, I disagree with you. I think art is more important than science because for the world to become a more sustainable place, because science has done a lot of damage to the world. So the first point you've made is the tremendous impact on infrastructures. Well, I don't really see the point of how infrastructures do impact sustainability because according to IKEA, 77.2% of the cars in 2021 are still fuel based. So which means when infrastructures are getting built, roads, highways, freeways are getting built, you're allowing more people to use cars which are emitting fossil fuel into the environment. Moving on to your second point. Your second point is the production of EV cars. Well, EV cars really do damage the environment in three different parts, in all of their parts. So the first part is the production part. So according to the Union of Concerned Scientists, manufacturing process electric cars are the one generating more carbon emissions. Along with that, you need rare earth elements like lithium, nickel, cobalt, or graphite that only exist beneath the surface of the earth. Therefore, they're dependent on mining activities, which are very polluting, and it just caused the world to be a worse place, sustainability wise. And now moving on to the moving on to the using process. So the first, if you're using battery powered energies and these battery getting charged are not from solar panels, wind turbine, or even nuclear or hydroelectric, their CO2 emissions will be higher since they will rely on fossil fuel energy. Moving on to after the life of the battery is over. So according to a study from the International Council of Clean Transportation, 99% of lead acid batteries, the running ones in fossil fuel powered cars, are recycled in the US. This is not the case for the lithium ion batteries that have a very specific mix of chemical components with little quality of lithium, which doesn't make them an appealing market opportunity. For instance, the EU market in 2011, only 5% of lithium was being collected and the rest either dumped in landfills or just throw away, as in was not justified for price or regulation to recover it by hydrometabolic processes. And your third point is that art is beauty, and beauty doesn't have anything to do with the environment, and it doesn't really affect the environment in any way. So in conclusion, these reasons, we feel like art is better for science in terms of sustainability. However, art doesn't really develop the world, but sustainability wise, we are better for the world. Thank you.
All right, that's great. Okay. Let's stay it for a while. Let me just send the link to the group first. Okay, 1 second. Okay, guys. So the fourth round of the third topic today, the final one, is posted in the group. So please do vote. Okay. Now it's time for us to take photo. All right. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Give me a big smile. One. Are you ready, Kuntaya? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Okay, that's great. All right. Just hang in there for a minute. Let me just check the vote first. Okay. Just give me a couple of minutes. All right, cool. So that's it. I close the vote now. Pinion, can you please, okay, turn off the vote as well. All right. Okay, thank you, Team 7, Team 8. And also, I would like to pass my appreciation to Team 1, Team 2, Team 5, 6, 7, and 8. You guys did a good job. See, the debating is not about like we're trying to fight each other, right? I think it clearly shows your understanding on the topics. Some of you did really well. I mean, there are some argument that you make to overcome the previous team argument, which is very nice. Some of you still reading the whole things. I can see from the eyeballs moving from left to right, which is fine. But it would be best if the debate can be solely on relying on against and arguing with other. I mean, creating a fruitful discussion between two teams. All right. So thank you guys for joining the debate now, for these sessions. Don't forget that we have another session on the 19th of November from 9 to 12. All right. That's it for today, and we will have 3 more debating topics, which are capitalism is leading the force to change the world into more sustainable economic than socialist economy. Social media is helping the world more than NGOs. And last but not least, fast fashion is more sustainable than those brand name stuff. Interesting topic, all of them. Okay, so thank you for today. Hope you enjoy the rest of the Fridays and also the weekends. And I will see you again next Friday. Thank you for participation and have a good weekend, man. Cheers. Bye.